Hello YouTube, it's me Delta7125 here again. If you guys can't really hear me, that's because my headset finally broke. So yeah, as a matter of fact, if I can grab it real quick. You can see the wires right there bent and showing. So I don't have that currently, but so I'm having to use the laptop's own built-in microphone. So just a little quick update right before I get to this review. The reason why I haven't been making videos lately is because I'm actually doing online schooling and whatnot for my next job, which is going to be a government job. And I've also been job searching for a part-time job currently, and so that's what I've kind of been dealing with lately. That and the car that we recently got. Apparently some snowplow guy decided to put a damn berm behind it, so I can't move that right now until I find the ice chipper around here, which is apparently either in the living room out here in the garage. I don't know where it's at, but I have to find that and get the snow shovel and go shovel and chip away at the ice and whatnot and remove it all. But the berm's about 2 feet high and about 3 feet deep behind it, so you know, and then of course the width of the car, which is about 7 feet. So I'm gonna have to get out there and do some real work to get that out once I get some free time. Yeah, other than that, that's what I've been doing currently. Kind of just been looking for stuff to do around here. I think I've already showed my Winchester Ranger supply. I've got 400 rounds plus another 50 rounds of it's actually not even a full metal jacket box. I looked at it more recently and there's actually hollow points and stuff mixed in there, so there's actually a mixed box of Winchester Ranger ammo, and then I've got like 2 boxes of full metal jackets. The Herder's 30-06 ammo has hard primers on it, almost like a military type primer, because I can use federal ammo, and the Mossberg 810A that I have does light primer strikes for some reason, but it always sets off the federal stuff, which is a softer primer consistency. But as far as the Herder stuff goes, I went ahead and sold that for some quick cash, just some eating cash to eat with. Anyways, but I still got like 15 rounds of that stuff, plus I think 7 on the side of the rifle, which I'll probably just use that stuff to plink with. Hopefully it all goes off, but I noticed that some of the ammo in the Herder's ammo, Smart Gunner 45 actually, and this one that we've already got open, we went through one whole box and then we picked up another box of it, and we had literally 5 of them that were just, you know, click after click after click, not firing, and then we finally got a few of them to fire. So it's not necessarily the rifle, it's more or less the primer on the round. So I don't know, but anyways, as far as the review goes, the stuff that I'm talking about is the Pro Pack Mountain House. As you can see, it's the spaghetti, which this is actually like the only Mountain House that I've tried and liked so far. I don't care for the beef stew, but that's mainly because I'd have to dig around the veggies, since I still don't have a palate for veggies. I don't know why. It's just I've been like that since childhood. Ever since I was probably about 6 or 7, I lost my taste for vegetables, and I mean, I can taste them, but they don't taste good like they used to. Like, I used to love vegetables and eat them in, you know, every meal, but nowadays I'm not really doing that. I do if they're like, you know, mixed in with stuff sometimes, but as far as like peas and Brussels sprouts and that sort of thing, I kind of just lost my taste for them. But I believe the lasagna might taste almost the exact same as these. But anyways, each container has roughly 460 calories, which is 2 servings of 230 calories apiece. And when you make these, they're actually almost up to here, because you have to pour like a cup and a quarter or a cup and a half, something like that, hot water or boiling water, better yet, into these. And if you've seen Crazy Russian Hacker's video, which he's got an alternate account, Terrace Cole or something like that, Cole. Anyways, he had like a little jet boil heater thing, and I thought that was really cool. I'm actually gonna pick one of those up because I plan to do some mountain hiking, hopefully by this fall. But I figured that'd be a good thing to pick up because, you know, burning water up the trail and everything with you is heavy and stuff, and that's lightweight. So every little ounce that you can, you know, take out of your pack is better for you to hike longer distances without having to stop and rest or eat something, you know, get your energy levels back up, or drink something for that matter, get them up. But as far as firearms, I might pick up an AK pistol for that. If not, maybe another M1 carbine or something lighter, you know, lighter weight. Because like I said, every little ounce counts when you're hiking up a mountain. And the one that I plan to hike is about almost 5 miles in the air, so, and that's from sea level up, not the actual distance that you go up the side of the mountain. Up the side of the mountain is probably going to be a good, probably 20-mile hike, I'd say, something like that, because of all the stuff you have to go around, and you don't just go straight up, you actually have to go around the side and then come back and go up and all sorts of stuff, and then you have to also come back down, which doubles that distance, so about 10 miles in each direction, something like that. But that's why I've been kind of looking at these mountain house meals and stuff. But one that my real dad liked before he passed was the lasagna and the chili macaroni. He would actually pick them up at the store, which is here in the U.S. It's called Walmart. Anyways, he picked those up and eat them just randomly, you know, whenever you feel like it. But as far as this stuff goes, it has 12 grams of protein per serving, so that's 24 grams of protein per bag, which this is what I refer to as the bag itself, is the actual bag that's in. As you can see, it says 2 servings on it, so everything that you're eating basically you double. So again, 24 grams of protein, that's actually pretty good. I ate one of these last night, but I don't think it was totally rehydrated because I wasn't timing it. It was kind of lukewarm because I only warmed up 2 cups of 2 like 10 to 12 ounce cups of water in the microwave at the same time for a minute, so it wasn't that hot. But I put 1 full cup in and then about roughly a third of the next cup into it. So I don't know if I added too little water or if the water wasn't warm enough or what, because you're supposed to add boiling water to it. But anyways, I ate it. It was fine eating it. Like, I got all the way to the bottom and there's like one little piece in there that wasn't rehydrated yet, so I think I, you know, didn't stir it or something like I was supposed to. I mean, I stirred it when I opened the bag, but I think you're supposed to halfway through it stir it, let it sit some more, and then open it right before you're supposed to eat it, stir it, let it sit another minute or two, and then finally open it, stir it again, and then eat it or something. That way the water gets to everything in there and rehydrates it. But it gave me a small stomach ache, so I don't think I did it right or something. But it was very filling though. It filled me up all throughout the night, and I honestly was full until maybe around about 8 o'clock, the time I got up from a nap tonight. And then I went to the store and actually got some more actual food. But we were kind of low on food, so I just grabbed one of these out of the drawer. I had 2 of them. But as far as taste goes, it's not the best. It smells when you open it like a military spaghetti MRE, and but when you rehydrate and everything, the noodles are about anywhere from 1 to 2 inches long, with the average being about 1¼ inch long in there, so they're little bite-sized pieces of noodles. But as far as the burger goes, it has the texture of burger, and it kind of has a little bit of aftertaste of burger, but it really doesn't have much flavor towards the burger. And the sauce is not actually marinara sauce. It's more like a almost like a tomato bisque or soup or tomato paste kind of taste to it. So it's not exactly the best, but I mean, when you're out, you know, in the wilderness walking around and stuff, it's definitely doable. And in case you noticed, I do have bags under my eyes, and that's from the online schooling stuff that I've been doing. But at only 4.0 0.6 ounces or 115 grams. I mean, these things are literally lightweight, so you probably pack 4 or 5 of these into a bag, and probably about 12 to 15 of those little satchels of water that you can get by a mainstay. And I mean, I don't know how much that water would take to rehydrate one of these. I don't think I'd even use it for that. I'd probably just bring along like a hydration pack with me, and then probably just bottles of water. Like we have something called Smart Water here in the U.S. I don't know if you can get it overseas or not, but it's about that tall. It's a 30, I think a 36-ounce bottle, if I remember correctly. But a 36-ounce bottle, and it's about that tall. So, put them in your if you wear like a tactical vest for climbing or mountain hiking, you can fit probably 1 or 2 per mag pouch. But again, that water will weigh you down, so you kind of got to figure out what you want to bring along, what you don't. Rope, the jet boil thing, like I said. You don't really need a climbing pick, but you can bring one if you want. Just I'd say be careful with that, because there's one woman from Australia that tried to climb the same peak, which is called Pioneer Peak up here in Alaska. Anyways, she tried to climb up. She got almost, I want to say, a mile or so from the top, and she slipped on a muddy incline that she was on, and the pickaxe actually went an inch into her back and hit her right in the spine. Didn't kill her, but it was very painful, and she had to be airlifted off the mountain. So, go figure. Like I said, be careful with the pickaxe or a climbing pick. But other than that, your other considerations, your clothes and stuff, you're going to want to dress warm and whatnot. And then, of course, how many days are you going to be gone? Pack enough food and water. If you can, and if you know that there's going to be, or likely going to be, water sources, pick up like one of those Ketadin Hiker Pro, or one of those smaller Ketadin or Katadyn, something like that, water filters. Those actually come in handy, especially if you have like a water satchel or a Camelback or something like that, or even just a canteen on you, because then you can just like go to a stream and just pump it until you get enough water, and you can drink the water right there, and then pump even more when you're done drinking your fill, if you will. Drinking until you feel like you're hydrated and you're good to go. Then you fill it up again, just so you have something, and then put it wherever on yourself, and then continue your hike. Other than that, I know there's I don't know, I feel like dating one out. They have little MRE military little like quick sticks or whatever that you can get. They're like pre-made powdered juice and the like, and you pour those into like canteen or a water bottle or whatever. And that's another thing too, is if you have your Smart Water or just whatever brand water bottle you want to bring along with you, if it's bottled water in the plastic bottles, you don't necessarily need to toss the bottles into your campfire and melt them, or turn them to ash or whatever, like some people do. And you don't need to necessarily throw them away, or if there's a trash pit there, into the trash pit. I don't know if you go to a commercial hiking place or whatever, but anyways, you don't need to do that. You don't need to throw them away. What you can do is just keep them empty on your vest, because they're light at that point. And like I said with the water bottle, once you get down to a stream or river or whatever with fresh water in it, filter your water. You can refill those water bottles too, and then you'll have even more water yet again. I mean, it's just a small idea, but things like that. And then as far as food goes, like I said, bring enough along. Bring energy bars too, because those will also help for backup. And it's not really much more than I can think of. Yeah, there's not really much more. I mean, there's some caffeine mints that I have, and some military energy gum, which is 100 milligrams caffeine per piece. Ooh. Excuse me, I just had a lot of water earlier, so burp. Anyways, Well, kind of burped and stuff at the same time. But yeah, these Mountain House meals are actually pretty decent. Um, I mean, you don't need to eat them slow and savor the taste. I mean, if you like Mountain House and you like the flavor, then go ahead. I didn't really care for the flavor, but the way that I ate my last one last night was basically just kind of ate it fast with a military spoon, which is the ones that come in the MREs are brown spoon, about yay long, anyways. Um, and I actually got like almost a mouthful of food each scoop. I mean, that's another thing too with these is when you scoop it, don't just immediately burn it in your mouth because you might accidentally spill some on yourself or on the ground or whatever. And that's it's still going to be wasted food, wasted calories, and that actually does count if you're up on the mountains and stuff. Um, but another thing is if you're going to use the jet boil thing, I recommend if you're going to use it with the small canisters, bring at least one more along with you. And another thing that Terrace Cool Call or whatever guy had was a pull string fire starter. I've never seen something like that. I was thinking that'd be probably a good thing to have up there, But keep it away from the pack though if you're going to bring the propane along, just in case you do get like a valve leak or something. That way your pack doesn't catch fire, hopefully. But other than that, um, you could probably bring along striker matches and that sort of thing. But the problem with that is when you're up on the mountains, there can be wind and they'll just blow out match after match after match, and they'll just get frustrated. The only other thing I could suggest to light a fire with is bring some. I had some here that were actually from Walmart too. They're I forget the company's name, but they're little road flares about like that long, or as some people I believe in the UK call them as a road torch or a torch. But it's basically just a little road flare about that long that's used for signaling emergencies and stuff. The thing about those is they're sulfur and something else, but you can light them and use them to light a campfire with on the side of the mountain. So another thing to think about. And then the other thing that's going to probably weigh you down is a good sized sleeping bag. You want something compact, not necessarily an emergency one, because I mean those are just emergency like they say, and they're not. I mean, they'll reflect your heat, but they're not going to hold in much. I mean, they're basically paper thin. But as far as mountain hiking goes, I'd say at least a 0 degree sleeping bag. And then the other thing that you'll need is going to be a good tent, and or at least like a backpacker hiking kind of tent. I mean, you're not going to stay warm in it, but I mean, hopefully your fire overnight will last. And the other thing is, if you're going to build a fire on the side of the mountain and there's not going to be any trees or anything, you're going to have to bring your own wood with you, basically, to burn up there. But, I mean, the only other thing that I could think of is if you can find a single-shot shotgun anymore, or a double-barrel shotgun for that matter, you could probably use that for like a mountain gun, if you will. And the reason why I suggest a shotgun over like a standard rifle, if you're actually going to be up there for like a weekend or a week or whatever, is just in case you run low or run out of food, and it actually does turn into a survival situation, is with a shotgun you can take down pretty much almost anything. I mean, especially with a 12 or 20 gauge shotgun with 2 3/4 inch shells, which are I believe 70 millimeter, and then 3-inch shells I believe are 76 millimeter if I remember correctly. But the thing is 3-inch shells might kick more, but you get more shot with them too. So like I said, if it turns into a survival situation, use them for pretty much anything. If you have the proper shot, I suggest at least 5 rounds of each kind, 5 slugs, 5 rounds of some sort of buckshot, either double-aught buck or triple-aught buck, or even number 4 buck. And then other than that, for birdshot, I would recommend either number 4 shot or number 6 shot. because the smaller the shot, the more shot you get, but the less chance of actually taking an animal. I mean, everyone wants to be ethical and humane and all that, but I mean, in a survival situation, it is what it is. You might have to take an extra shot. But I mean, I wouldn't really fault that to a person with a shotgun. I'd more or less fault that to the knowledge of the shot that they have and what it's capable of. Because bigger shot for bigger game, smaller shot for smaller game, but also the smaller the shot, the less distance that you can humanely make an efficient kill with your shotgun. So, I mean, there's just little things like that to keep in mind. Also, if you have a slug, with a 12 gauge especially, keep in mind that you're probably not going to kill anything smaller than a probably coyote, I'd say, especially with a 12 gauge. So I mean, just keep that in mind. And like I said, Mountain House, it's all right, but and they could probably do better on the taste. But I think that's the freeze drying process. Another thing I would recommend is, as a matter of fact, I got a big bottle of it right here. Tylenol Extra Strength or ibuprofen or something like that in case you sprain an ankle or a wrist. I actually have. If I can find it here real quick. Can I find an opening in my backpack? Let's see if I still have it. Yes, I do. I actually have a small bottle of it that I used for work. I just keep refilling it. But I found this at a gas station. It's a smaller version of it. So as you can see, this one holds 500, this one here holds about 10. But you can actually stuff about 15, I've found, into these, 15 or 16, something like that. So, but these, come in real handy when you're walking in the mountains. You get sprains and things like that. And, for typical fevers and things like that. The other thing is, I had one that was called cold and flu multi-symptom, but I don't think you'd really need that for mountaineering work if you're not going to be up there too long. These ones should, help with the fever if you start to get a cold, and then when you get home you can take the cold multi-symptom. But yeah, these are really useful for sprains and things, and then also for fevers and typical aches and pains. If you're getting older and you wake up with aches and pains from the cold, or if you start getting cramps, you need more potassium in your diet. And the only thing I can really recommend for cramps is to try and stretch it out and whatnot. Maybe take a couple of those and drink more water. But other than that, not really too much more that I can really relate to kind of before and after thoughts of climbing a mountain. I mean, I've climbed mountains before, but they weren't as tall as Pioneer Peak. I mean, they're roughly about a half to a third the size, about 2,000 to 3,000 foot elevation. And for those of you in the UK or overseas, I don't know what that is in meters. I know a meter's like 1 or 2 feet, something like that. So if you want to do the calculation, go for it. Other than that, though, here in the U.S., I prefer to hike with a firearm, just because here in Alaska especially, we do have mountain lions, such as, I don't think they're pumas, they're lynx, that's what they're called. We do have lynx, and we have wolves, of course. I mean, even in the movies, like Into the Gray was supposed to be up here. I mean, it's obviously not, but it's kind of relating to a story that happened to somebody up here. But I guess they found the guy's body in a wolf den. And by the way, wolf dens don't actually look like that, just a heads up. But the dog's getting bored. But like I was saying, we have wolves. We also have both types of bear, black bear and brown or grizzly bear. And then, I mean, further north we have polar bears, but we haven't really seen any of them past a place called I believe it's called Wrangell, Wrangell. So, and that's actually a village, but we haven't seen any further south than that, I should say. And even then, that one was I believe, a mix between a grizzly bear or a brown bear and a polar bear, believe it or not. And they do interbreed, which is, it actually made the news a few years ago about some guy shot one over here in Canada to the east of us. And turned out it was a half and half mixed breed. But like I said, though, you know, you got to figure in your weight and everything, especially with things like firearms. I mean, I would honestly prefer a 45-70 lever gun and a 45-70 Magnum Research big frame revolver, and that's just because the you know, the bears and stuff. But I mean, when you think about it in reality, the BFR would probably be enough just to hike with. But a revolver is meant for, you know, shorter range. About with that one, I'd probably say about 30 yards. And you don't want to be in 30 yards of a grizzly bear because they can cover a good distance pretty short. I mean, they run up to 45 miles an hour, and they weigh generally around 1,000 to, I want to say, 1,400 pounds up here. So pretty big bears. Grizzly bears, however, can weigh as little as 700 or 800 pounds. And so, you know, it gives you a good hint at what they weigh. But other than that, when I do wind up getting me a part-time job here soon, because I need something until I get into this government job, I'm probably going to get a Costco card and stock up on food with that, because you can also, I mean, obviously you can bring fresh food with you on a hike. I mean, you know, you don't have to bring freeze-dried stuff with you. But the freeze-dried stuff, I mean, that's got an expiration date of August 2046 on it. And I just bought that just this last year in 2016. So, you know, it's got a good shelf life on it, and that's just sitting there in my drawer. You know, it'll last until August of 2046. So, and all you need, again, is like a cup and a quarter to a cup and a half of boiling water, and then just to wait, you know, 10 to 15 minutes for it to rehydrate itself. And other than that, have something like a spoon or a spork or something to eat it with. You can actually get a, I believe, either CKRT or CRKT, something like that. You can find them online. They make a tactical spork, which is like a can opener, and a like a spork, which is a spoon with like little fork prongs on the front of it. And then I believe it's got a bottle opener on the back as well. And yeah, you can find stuff like that. I believe it's called Colgans, Colghens. I believe they make a camping fork, knife, and spoon combo, which also has bottle openers and can openers and things on it. And it's about that big. But if you just get one of those, two there, and then one of the two options I just mentioned, and then a I was just thinking of tactical spork, and then that's something else, but slips my mind right now. But yeah, if you just get one of those, some water, Mountain House, I mean, you'll pretty much be set with the jet boil thing as well. I would actually recommend a Geigrig, Geigre, and I think it's GG, Geigrig, water backpack types. It's almost like a Camelback hydration packet or pouch that you put on like a backpack, except that this one has like an inline filtration system, so the water you've already filtered can get filtered again through your filtration system. And it's got a bulb on there that you can actually squeeze, and it'll automatically feed the water through as you squeeze, almost like a little squeeze pump system. So, essentially, you can squeeze that, and it'll feed the water through the line and out the line. So you can actually fill up your jet boil I guess you call it like a pitcher or something. But the jet boil pitcher that he had, you basically feed the water into there from your 3 liter or 100 ounce uh, hydration pack. Some of them are only 2 liters, and I forget how much that is in ounces. But some are 3 liters, like the Camelbacks. Like I said, though, it's got a pump on it and a filtration system inline, so I mean it's a really cool system. I want to get that plus the like a tactical vest, and like I said, fold up and stuff. But like I was back to my main point, like I was saying, as far as firearms go, I know this video is getting long, but as far as firearms go, 45-70 gets a little heavy, especially for people that don't have all that muscle mass. I mean, I basically started losing mine from sitting around for about 5 years, and I've recently started working out again. And I've got 2 35-pound dumbbell weights over here, and those are actually pretty damn heavy to work out with for me. So I actually lost a lot of muscle mass these last 5 years just sitting around and working out again, slowly getting that back. These are actually getting a little easier to lift day by day. So, but other than that, I would recommend getting something like a treadmill or practicing walking around a track, even though that's not an incline, or even a stair stepper for that matter, or a Bowflex. What do they call those? Bowflex Max Trainer or something like that, which combines a treadmill with an elliptical or a stair stepper, which is an elliptical and a stair stepper is basically the same thing, but it combines that motion with the treadmill. And the reason why I say an elliptical and a stair stepper is basically the same thing is because with a stair stepper you're almost doing the same motion as an elliptical. An elliptical is the one that's like pedaling a bike, so, or a bicycle, or whatever you want to call it. But the Bowflex Max Trainer, I believe it's the Pro 7 series or something like that I was looking at. Anyways, $2,800 US, but I figured it'd be worth it for training. It also works out your arms too, so that's actually a motion that you do use when you're climbing, especially like climbing sticks or something like that. So that'd actually be a really good thing if you can afford it for training to start to climb mountains and things if you want to do mountaineering. The only other thing I'd recommend is getting some training, if you don't know how already, getting some training at using ropes for climbing and things like that, and rock climbing, like how they do recreational centers, rock climbing walls and things. That also helps you, although I don't recommend free climbing unless you absolutely have to on a mountainside, especially if you're alone, because I mean, one slip and you're done, as they say. Excuse me. But as far as firearms go, an M1 carbine would probably be a good bet for US-based firearms. I mean, it's really well balanced and lightweight. Cheaper Than Dirt says they weigh 6.4 pounds to 7 pounds. I'm sitting here going, how the hell is that? An AR-15 weighs more than an M1 carbine every time I picked one up. I mean, M1 carbine literally feels about 2.5 to 3 pounds to me, and that's with a fully loaded magazine in it. So, and they don't kick more than a 223. I mean, that's for sure. They actually kick about half as much, I'd say. And they have more energy at 100 yards than a 44 Magnum handgun does at the muzzle. So, I mean, that's pretty good defense against almost any predator that you'd probably run up against on a mountain. If you want to go with the paratrooper model, I mean, that'd be the personal preference. You can fold it and make it smaller. If you have a side thing on your pack for a firearm, you can generally fit them in there by extending the stock or folding it out. I mean, and then putting it on the side thing, which my mountain pack has one. I don't have my mountain pack in here. I think I did a review on it before when I unboxed them from Amazon. I got 2 of them. But yeah, M1 carbine's pretty lightweight, pretty good firepower. I'd recommend soft points over full metal jackets, however, just for the expansion and the extra kinetic energy that or the extra energy that the put out downrange when they expand, and also an expanding bullet will work for both bears and lynx and puma and that sort of thing. You know, mountain lions, wolves, coyotes, you name it. It'll pretty much take down whatever you need to. In an M1 carbine, you can actually get a 10-round magazine if you're in California, and you can just carry multiple magazines on you if you want to. I really don't think you need more than 30 rounds. So that's either, if you're like in Colorado, 2 15-round magazines, or if you're in California, 3 10-round magazines, you know. Or if you're in somewhere that doesn't restrict magazine size, you just carry a single 30-round magazine, you're good to go. In the M1 carbine, you can get a sling for. You can actually put an optic on it if you wish. They have little scope mounts that you got to take off the rear sight and put on there. But it, you know, basically gives you a scope option, if you will, or a red dot option, if that's your thing. Or you could use the peep sights. I mean, I don't have a problem with the peep sights. As far as handguns go, I mean, if you're in a magazine restricted state, again, a revolver like a Ruger GP100 357. I mean, natives actually used them to take down polar bears up here. The 357 caliber, that is, not necessarily just the GP100. But 44 Magnum, you can actually purchase a Ruger Blackhawk 44 Magnum used. And I know some people don't like used guns, but you can buy them used at a gun store up here anyways for $250 US. So they're relatively cheap. They're 6-shot. Yes, they're only single action, but it's still a 44 Magnum with a anywhere from a 5 to an 8-inch barrel, I believe, or 7.5 inch, something like that. And they're, you know, like a frontiersman style rifle, or not rifle, a revolver, frontiersman style revolver, single action. Trigger pulls aren't bad on them at all. They're around, I'd say, if I had to guess, about 4 pounds for a trigger pull, or 3 pounds, something like that. But the stiffest one I felt was about 6.5 to 7 pounds, but that was a, I think that guy modified his to be heavier somehow. I don't know how. He was a gunsmith or something, he said, but it was at a gun show, and I was wondering why the hell it was that heavy. But I don't know, I guess he liked heavier trigger pulls. Anyways, like I said, revolver for magazine restricted state. For non-magazine restricted state, actually for a magazine restricted state, you could actually probably use Desert Eagle, come to think of it. 50 AE will take down pretty much anything, including grizzlies. 44 Magnum as well. And again, 357 Magnum, not the best caliber for grizzly, but that's because their skulls are actually a little harder than, or a little more dense in bone density than the other bear species, apparently. I don't know how in the hell that is, but they also like to slant their heads when they charge, which is how a 44 Magnum can bounce off their forehead. So, you know, I mean, a handgun is basically last line of defense. If the bear charges you and, you know, knocks you down, starts chewing on you, at that point you can pull your handgun and, you know, shoot him in the head, basically. But, I mean, if it comes down to that, I'd rather have a revolver or a, you know, a Desert Eagle or something that I know is going to go bang, rather than an AK pistol. But the AK pistol, just because of the compactness of the firearm, the firepower that it contains is basically equal to a short-barreled 30-30, which a full-sized AK literally has the same ballistics with a full metal jacket bullet that a 30-30 150 grain soft point has. So, you know, an AK would be a good idea if you're not in a magazine restricted state to, you know, walk up a mountain with if you want for a mountain gun. They're not that accurate. You can actually hit things at 100 yards, and if an animal gets hit, it's likely going to try and run. And, you know, the 10 to 15% of the time they continue their charge. If you have an AK, I mean, you have 30 rounds. If you're not in a magazine restricted state anyways, at least, if not a 40-round magazine. And if it's fully loaded, then, you know, just keep firing until the animal drops, drops, basically. mouth's starting to get dry from all this talking, but and I know I'm going on, holy crap, over 40 minutes, but all I'm trying to do with this video basically is just get some information out there for those of you interested in doing mountaineering and stuff, even especially in the state of Alaska, even if it's just small time, like, you know, 1 or 2 time thing. But your main principles are to stay fed and hydrated, and then other than that, stay warm, dress in layers, bring a sleeping bag if you plan to sleep overnight. Other than that, be aware of if you're going to need oxygen or not. If you do, be aware of getting the bends, which is where you get too much oxygen in your bloodstream. And also altitude sickness, which is too little oxygen in your bloodstream. Excuse me. And I believe it happens around 8 to 10,000 feet or something like that. However, the mountain that I'm going to be hiking is only going to be 6,600 feet in the air, but still, as you go up, the air gets thinner. I forget the company, but if you check Amazon.com, just type in, I believe you just type in oxygen or oxygen can or something like that, and they sell little cans of oxygen that you can get, and you just, you know, inhale once on those and boost your oxygen level back up. I would recommend keeping an O2 oxygen sensor meter with you, which also is a pulse meter. If you're going to go up to high altitudes, they actually do sell those at Walmart. I believe you can get them from walmart.com, and they measure your oxygen level in your blood. You might want to, you know, get technical information on this before you go hiking, so that you know what you're doing, you know, and what your oxygen levels should be in your blood and everything, and what low and high would be for you. I mean, it varies from person to person with the weight, your height, your build, different diseases or disabilities, that sort of thing. But you know your oxygen level that's supposed to be in your blood and all that, which it basically just measures your pulse. It doesn't poke you or anything like that, as far as I know. It's just an O2 meter, and what it does is it senses your pulse, and depending on what your pulse rate is, it measures the amount of oxygen in your bloodstream that's circulating through your body by measuring your pulse. So, I mean, it's semi-accurate at least, if not accurate. Like I said, you can get an O2 sensor, oxygen sensor slash pulse meter, which will also tell you your pulse, you know, if your heart rate's going up or down. The other thing is if you have different levels of cholesterol. Stalker, if you're watching this, pay attention, Mr. Rosenberg. And yes, I said that because he's actually mentioned his cholesterol level. But anyways, your cholesterol level is another thing to watch. Because if you, I believe if you have low cholesterol, you need more salt. So if you bring like a salt tablet or some salty chips or something with you, that could help you with that. Or I don't believe a salt lick actually has salt on it anymore, but they might. I'd have to look into that. I haven't been deer hunting in, hell, probably 10 years, since I was 16. But a salt lick used to actually contain salt for deer, so they'd come up and lick the salt off of it, and it was like a little brick with salt on it. But I don't think that's for human consumption. You can also carry little packets or sachets or satchels or whatever you want to call it of salt that you can find at restaurants or like Costco, or you can even carry like a small salt shaker on you. And what you can do with that is, I mean, it won't taste the best, but you can add that to your food that you're eating, whether it be Mountain House or MREs or whatever you have. Also, MREs actually have salt in them, I believe, in the accessory packets. I have a bunch of them behind me in a box, but I don't want to pull them out because they're buried underneath my other MRE components. But yeah, carry some salt on you. Another thing is, if you're hunting in the mountains, scent killer or scent blocker you want to carry with you, because animals have an acute sense to smell. Every animal does, including goats and rams. If you're hunting in the summertime in the mountains, I would definitely recommend extra water if you can, carry some on you, and salty foods because they hold in your moisture. They make you sweat a little bit less. And I mean, when you're sweating, you're just you know really just getting rid of all that hydration that you just had. All of your water and stuff. Another thing is Capri Sun or any sort of juice like that. I'd recommend bringing at least a little bit of it with you. They used to sell the big pouch at Walmart, which was about that big, whereas the normal ones are about that big. So they used to sell like a larger one with like a little twist top on it, and you just drink it straight out of the pouch. I wish they would bring those back to Walmart, and I wish Capri Sun, if they're watching this or ever happen to come across the video, those were actually really good, and you only really needed one if you're going on a long walk. But if you can find something like that, or any sort of juice that you can bring along. I mean, like I said, only carry what you can bring. If you're going with a group of people, try to get some juice into that group somehow. Even cans of juice. You might have to bring a can back down the mountain with you, but even a can of juice would help, because juice will actually hydrate you more than just plain water will, especially if it's like apple juice or something like that. I wouldn't recommend cranberry juice because that's really sour, and even though it'll get your carbs and your blood sugar levels up and things like that. The reason why I don't recommend it is because the sourness will actually sort of sap your hydration, if you will, or make your mouth dry and cottony feeling, especially if you're hiking. It might be good for your heart and all that, but I would recommend drinking it before your hike, and then after your hike, maybe as a reward to yourself or something for a job well done or something. I don't know. But apple juice, on the other hand, will not necessarily make you cotton mouth or have that dry feeling in your mouth. But yeah, just stay hydrated, stay fed, stay warm. And other than that, stay protected. Other than that stuff, there's not really much to add. Like I said, if you're going overnight, just to cap it all off right in this video, it's going on almost 50 minutes. It's at 47:40 now. Anyways, just to cap it all off, Jetboil camping stove with an extra propane tank, preferably a small one so you can pack it in your pack easier, depending on how long you're going for. Pack at least one for every 2 days that you figure you're going to be there, I'd say, because I don't know how long these things last. It also varies from person to person. Tent that's appropriate for the conditions. This doesn't have to be one that has a camping stove in it, but if you're going with a large group of people, I'd say go ahead and invest in one, because one with a camping stove will keep you and your group warm. The only problem with those is they weigh a lot. I'm talking like 20-30 pounds per person that's carrying the tent. Other than that, a sleeping bag that's good to at least 0 degrees. Again, depending on if you're going to be camping in summer or fall or spring, or mountaineering, I should say. Rope, some sort of cutting tool like an axe or a machete even. Although I'd recommend an axe more than a machete, or a hatchet at least. Camp shovel, something like that. Maybe a camp shovel hatchet combo if you can find one still. I believe Amazon might have one. A good pack for packing everything in. Firearm or two if you can afford or can have them. Definitely pack some along. I don't believe muskets are restricted in any state whatsoever. The problem with that is it's all black powder, and it's a single shot usually, or double barrel if you can find one. You might be able to find like a revolving rifle version. I personally don't like those just because of the history with them, and they can actually set off each and every chamber somehow in some of them. Flintlock for a pistol. I mean, if you're restricted somehow. But other than that, also they have a camp shovel that has a saw in it. That'd be another good thing to have. Some sort of lighting device, either a lighter, preferably a windproof one, or like I said, some road flares, or torches for those of you in the UK. Windproof matches, the pull string lighter system, anything like that. And like I said, you're going to have to take wood along with you. Maybe a Duraflame log. They sell Duraflame logs. I believe you can buy those on Amazon as well. I don't know if you can get them shipped overseas or not, but they're pretty light. You could probably carry at least 2 of those in your bag, and they last for 8 hours. So something to think of. And then the water purifier, like I said, water bottles, maybe an emergency radio, Ziploc 1-gallon bags for waterproofing things like radios, cell phones, wallets, that sort of thing. Anything that could get wet. Also a poncho that will be a size or two too large for you, so you can put it over your gear. And then the pack itself, also a hydration bladder or pouch or satchel, whatever you want to call it, hydration pack, hydration backpack, something like that, so that you have extra water. And then, like I said, the food, that's the only other thing. You can carry canned goods if you want, but canned goods are heavy. MREs you take with you, they're ready to eat right out of the pouch, but they're heavy and they can freeze, especially in colder climates further up. Mountain House, I'd really recommend. Funny little thing is the long-range patrol rations and meal cold weather rations from the U.S. military are being combined into one. They actually contain larger portion Mountain House meals. So it's actually a little bit larger than these civilian bags you can get. I believe they're 4 servings instead of just 2. But yeah, you can pick those up if you want. You can find them online or whatever. And then a brick or 2 of that. Probably all you're going to need, really. Maybe 3, depending on how long you're going to go for. And then little power bars and things, things like that. Like I said, I wouldn't expect to be gone more than a weekend, but just in case, be prepared for anything. And then, like I said, Tylenol or ibuprofen or the equivalent in the UK. I forget what it's called, but all this is what is called acetaminophen, something like that. Basically, almost like aspirin. This is Tylenol extra strength, 500 milligram tablets. You only take 2 at a time. Every, I believe 6 hours is when they wear off. So 4 to 6 hours, something like that. But keep those for emergencies. Other than that, small medical kit. That's all you should really need for your hike. So hopefully you've been writing that down. If not, go ahead and rewind the video and take a look again. I really don't want this video to reach an hour because I don't think anyone's really paying attention anymore. If you are, I thank you. If you have any questions or comments about mountaineering and the like, go ahead and leave them below and I'll try to get back to you. I check my YouTube almost every night, and also it'll notify me by email if anyone comments or leaves a comment. So again, I'll try to get back to your questions. And I think I've pretty much covered almost every topic that I can think of on the mountaineering aspect. As far as what you should pack goes. And that's pretty much it. The only other thing I can think of is if you're bringing electronics with you, a solar-powered small panel, which they also sell on Amazon. Something you could charge your cell phone or laptop or maybe even flashlight. Oh, that's another thing is something else you bring with you is a shake lantern or a shake flashlight. Which all you do is you shake them in the charge with like a little copper thing that goes back and forth and conducts electricity. So you just shake it and it conducts electricity, and then you can turn on the light and see in the dark wherever you need to. Maybe a headlamp, something like that, so you don't just trip and fall in the dark if you're going to be doing everything in the dark. But I definitely recommend at least 2 to 4 road flares, depending on how long you're going to be gone for and what you plan to use them for. You can use them to signal. Also, a signal mirror would be a good addition to your pack, so you can signal planes overhead if you're lost or something. And also, if you're going to shave or whatever, you can use a signal mirror to look at yourself and shave. But just little things like that. I mean, when you're looking at all the survival gear and things, just think of what you might need and think of what you will need. And what you will need, you should add to your list. What you might need, you should check and see what your funds are like for your trip, if you can afford the extra stuff, and if you really need it. So, I mean, you kind of got to weigh your options. Because, like I said, everything weighs up. The average person can carry maybe 40 to 60 pounds on their back, depending on how fast they want to travel and how far before resting. A very fit person could probably hold 80 pounds on their pack, or in their pack. But that not only adds stress to the pack, but also to your back. So you want a backpack with lumbar support, the like. Another good thing that's kind of like a comfort thing, really, is a like an air pillow or a compressed pillow or something for your head for when you're laying down and sleeping at night. If you plan to go overnight, that actually does make a difference. Also, a camp pad for your back if your sleeping bag isn't padded enough, which I suggest, if you have someplace that's rocky outside, or you have some rocks that you can put down in your house in like a tarp or something so you don't get the floor all dirty, do that, and then put your sleeping bag on top of that, because we can always wash the sleeping bag. But do that, sleeping your sleeping bag on that for a couple nights, and then see how it feels, because worst case scenario, you'll be camping on top of rocks. And then if it's comfortable for you, I guess you found a comfortable sleeping bag. If not, try it with a camping pad, and then see what kind of combination works for you. And yeah, just something to think about. But like I said, every little ounce matters, so just take that into consideration. Also, the water that you'll be carrying. 3 liters of water, I believe, is I want to say 5 or 6 pounds, if I remember correctly. I don't remember the math on that, but I'd have to look that up again. But just something to keep in mind. Like I said, water filter is a really good idea. And then the little packets of like Powerade or Gatorade, if you can find them. I know Amazon sells them. But also there's Kool-Aid, I believe they call them single serving pouches, or Kool-Aid singles. That's what they're called. Koolaid, Kool-Aid. That's with a K. And then singles, Singles, in case you don't know how to spell that. And the ones I've tried so far are cherry, which is decently good if you like cherry. I haven't tried the grape yet, but I have tried the tropical punch, and I gotta say that's one of my favorite ones so far. It tastes really, really good. And when I mix it in with water, with the water from the fridge, because I have a filtration system in the fridge anyways, it tastes pretty good, actually, especially with ice in it. But if you're at a stream and you got cold water flowing in the stream, I mean, that'll just lighten your day really well. If you're hiking for hours on end, you got one little Kool-Aid singles in like a little canteen or something, or a water bottle, you can just pour it in and mix it up and drink it. I mean, it's it's actually really good. It's almost as good as having an extremely cold root beer on a hot day. So just something to keep in mind. Anyways, I'm going on an hour almost. This video, it's at 59 minutes 20 seconds right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I should probably made this a live stream, but no one ever wants to join me in a live stream, so there's that. Other than that, I might host a Google Hangout with Ed, Zombie Master Ed, sometime soon if he wants to do that. I don't know. The last one he didn't really want to do, so we kind of skipped that. like I said, I've been doing online schooling and stuff, and trying to find a part-time job currently, so I've been busy. Um, I'm also selling my SIG pistol. Currently, I already have a buyer for it, but that's because it's more than what I got it for. She wants to buy it for more than I got it for, so I was like, okay. I said, well, I only bought it for this one. She's like, oh, well, that's fine. I'll just buy it for this much. You can use the extra money. I was like, thanks. But, so, yeah, I love how they, like, crack little ass jokes and stuff on their own. But, anyways, yeah, I'm getting rid of the SIG. The reason why is not because it's a bad pistol or anything, but it's just honestly a little too heavy and a little too big for concealed carry. It's got an aluminum frame and everything, so it weighs as much as my USP 45 does, if not maybe a couple ounces more. Especially with a fully loaded mag, so it's a little on the heavy side. And the night sights are kind of dim, so I mean it's not the best night sights. I mean they do work, but they're a little dim for me. So they're kind of losing their glow, I guess you could say. They probably only have maybe 5 to 8 years of glow left in them, I'd say. They're tritium, but they're supposed to last 30 years, but these ones look like they're fading fast for some reason. But they're just getting dimmer and dimmer. So I mean, I really like the SIG, but it's just honestly not for me because I bought it for concealed carry and it's just a little too heavy. I don't have an inside the waistband holster either, and it doesn't have a manual safety on it, even though it has a heavy trigger pull. So that's kind of another pet peeve of mine, but whatever. I'm planning to get something a little lighter than that, probably like a Ruger LCP or another PF9 or something. The PF9 doesn't have a safety on it either, but a Ruger LC9S, I believe Pro is what I'm going to try and get next, which weighs about the same as a PF9. It's not even that much bigger. I've seen them in stores side by side, and they're almost the same size, so that's what I plan to do. Other than that, maybe a PT24 or something a little smaller than that. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Questions and comments, leave them below, and I'll try to get back to you. This has been Delta 0125, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next video.